Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission in this beautiful planet of ours. It is I, Mike Martins, and welcome to another very special edition to Trends in the Housing Market. Today is the 3rd of January 2019 for a majority of the planet, and where I'm at, it's still January 2nd. Hope everyone had a really good New Year. Hope everyone had what they needed, and hope everybody had the good time. And I hope everyone could follow through with their resolutions if everyone has any New Year's resolutions. Anyways, guys, Mike Martins with Trends in the Housing Market, guys. I got a lot going on here in the show. Don't forget to subscribe to my main channel. It's just Mike Martins. You see it here. This show will be uploaded to my main channel later. So if you can subscribe to it, my main channel, they removed my right to stream because I was talking about the Australian housing market 3.5 years. I made a video 3.5 years ago that was deleted by them, and it just caused a strike. And it was me outside talking outside, no music in the background, nothing. I guess they didn't like the video, so they needed to find a way to terminate it. So they gave me a strike and a copyright notice on it, and I tried to appeal it, so they've never got back to me. So that's it. That's that with that. So okay, guys, we got a lots going on right now in trends in the housing markets. Justin Baker is going to give us a call. Andrew Baker, sorry. Oh my God, I got it all wrong tonight. It's been a long day, guys. I got a headache, and it's just been one of those long days. You know how it is. Back at the shop organizing things for the year. Okay, Bank of Canada officially began buying Canadian mortgage bonds. What a nightmare this is going to turn out to be. Canada's central banks has officially started to help out with mortgage liquidity. The Bank of Canada has announced their intention to buy Canada mortgage bonds at the end of November. The bank bought nearly $250 million of these bonds less than 3 weeks later. So remember, I brought this up the day of it was reported that they were rumored, and 3 weeks after, which is this now, they've went ahead and purchased $250 million bonds. The problem is a lot of the bonds that they purchased that are mortgage-backed securities is foreign money. So it's foreign invested money. So this is a problem. I don't even know how to address this problem, because we've never had, like, the U.S. had the problem, with the buying mortgage-backed securities and blah, blah, blah. But this is a bigger problem, because back in the day, there was very little to no foreign investing in the U.S. back in that time, during that big crash. Now, a majority of the percentage of it is here. So, WTF is Canada mortgage bond? Well, let's go back to basics here, guys. Canada mortgage bonds are bonds used to fund mortgages and guarantee that by CMHC investors buy the bonds, and lenders use the cash to lend to mortgage borrowers. Since CMHC and the Government of Canada guarantee them, they're very secure investments. Secure investments pay relatively low yields, making them cheap mortgage funding vehicle. Investors get a secure investment, mortgage lenders get access to cheap money. It's perfect match, and it translates to easier and cheaper credit for home buyers. A win for investors, lenders, and home buyers. One problem: we don't have an unlimited number of investors to drive the credit growth forever. When those start to dry up, credit begins to tighten. That's where an unusual move from the BOC, Bank of Canada, came in. Ooh, I won a Walmart $100 survey. Bank of Canada announced they will be buying CMBs, Canadian mortgage bonds, in November. The BOC is buying CMBs as part of an expansion to their asset buying program. They noted at the end of November there is no implications for monetary policy and financial stability objectives of the bank. Buying these bonds doesn't expand the central bank's balance sheet. Instead, they're buying CMBs to help offset the bank's liabilities. We have a winner. Ding, 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 ding. Mostly circulating currency. Theoretically, there should be no major change to inflation or interest rates. The Bank of Canada bought $250 million worth of CMBs just 20 days later. Just 20 days after announcing the intention to buy Canadian mortgage bonds, the Bank of Canada became a major buyer of the bonds. The central bank bought $250 million worth of CMBs at the December 13 auction with a coupon of 2.55%. That's about 4.5% of the total net value of the auction, making them a significant buyer less than a month after expressing their intention to buy. Oh, you could tell that they're getting desperate, big time. What's the big deal? Here we go. Now let's get to the big deal. Most people are confusing no implications with monetary policy with no big deal. That's not the case, and it's not a move that should be it's a move that should be watched closely. It doesn't expand the balance sheets, so it's not a form of quantitative easing. It does, however, increase liquidity for the Canadian mortgage backs, but demand for new mortgage credit isn't all that high. Right now, they're buying when Canadian mortgage credit growth is falling at multi-decade lows. If things are so good with credit liquidity, why is the Bank of Canada helping fulfill minuscule growth? That's a really good comeback by Better Dwelling. I love these guys, Better Dwelling. These guys are really good. Okay, everyone in the comment section. Hey, Mike, I love this show. Kevin Thompson. Gary Medeiros. Hello, Mike. That's my man, Gary Medeiros, in the comments there. Steve the Plumber. Hello, Mike Martins. Hey, guys. And Matsky. Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Trends in the housing market tonight. Canada is shooting itself in the foot. They're creating liquidity, buying back mortgage-backed securities, and let me tell you what the silver bullet is of this. Is a lot of the mortgage-backed securities they're buying are basically foreign invested money. So they're just recapitulating the money. I'm gonna see if I can get Andrew Baker on to give us a breakdown on his opinion on buying mortgage-backed bonds and how of an empty shell it is. It's basically a modified derivative market to help create liquidity in a market that's falling. So the market is already falling. And this is what they did in 2006 and 2007 when the feds, remember in 06, 07, 08, were buying mortgage-backed securities. They were buying bad debt and hoping to keep the Ponzi scheme going, right? And we all know how that ended in the United States. Okay. Affordability remains out of reach despite the plunge in Vancouver's multi-million-dollar single-family homes. We know this. Condo towers are seen under construction in an aerial view in Richmond, British Columbia. On May 16, 2018, commercial and industrial properties saw the increase of between 10 to 20% across most of the province, with some markets around Metro Vancouver increase about 30%. So the pre-builts, they're coming up. A lot of, they're going to start, I know what they're going to start doing. They're going to start rezoning things in Vancouver to start making it easier for builders. They're going to play the supply versus demand thing, which is a complete Ponzi scheme. Unload the 100,000 empty units, investment units that are laying empty, and start taxing those units, and you'll see how fast they'll be on the market for sale. 29 real estate market forecast outlook. So this is from the Vancouver Courier. So sales activity, Canadian Mortgage Housing Corporation. What was it? Right here. The BC Real Estate Association went into other direction with its sales predictions. Taking a bullish stance, it said in November forecast that sales in 2018 would total around 80,000 by the end of December, down 23% from a year ago, but would then rise in 2019 about 12% to a total of 89,500 sales across BC. I don't believe that until we see it. And home prices in BC urban centers. So prices are falling. Let's get to the next article. Let's cut this off. New data reveals... okay. This is Australia, guys. So let's jump to Australia real quick. These articles all over the place tonight, guys. I got a massive headache right now, so I'm trying to battle it and drink some water here, see if I can feel better. Bad news, property owners. Our real estate market is at its weakest point since 2008 in Melbourne and Sydney, the hardest hit. So, again... Sydney and Melbourne, the two major cities that push up the benchmark average of the average home in Australia, making it look all expensive, but in reality, it's the bigger cities that are creating that artificial data across the country. New data has revealed Australians' ailing housing market has its worst fall since the GFC more than a decade ago, with values falling to half of our capital cities. According to CoreLogic December Home Value Index result, national dwellings values were down 2.3% over the December quarter, the worst quarter-on-quarter result since December 2008. So it's becoming a trend now. Everything's just going down. Now, hey, I got a solution for this. I got a great solution. Hey, why don't we do interest-only mortgages again? That's what they're putting back in Australia. Interest-only mortgages. The banks are allowed 30% of their loans. Hey, you know, let's do 30%. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm getting low video output, guys. Thirsty as hell. I'm getting severely low video output. Don't know why. It's only moving at 1 kilobyte, 2 kilobytes per second, 0 kilobytes per second. Let's see if we can get the stream back up. I don't know why it's dying off on me here. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, there we go. It's moving to normal territory. There we go. It's moving back up. Oh, let's check the comment section here. Trends in the housing market. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys, on my backup channel. And, yeah. So right now, statistics showed Sydney and Melbourne were the hardest hit, followed by Perth and Darwin. However, other capital cities recovered an overall jump in values, although each city noted a weakened pace growth compared to 2017. So you got cities like Hobart and all those other places where basically everybody moved there and then started manipulating the pricing in their markets and bringing them up. Oh, so I wanted to bring this up real quick. Apple shares revenue guidance says iPhone sales are weak. In China, shares tank. I don't know why anyone would own an Apple phone. It's the worst phone I've ever... I had it once and I never looked back. I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're in the Apple, if you're invested in Apple, you better go check your portfolio right now. Okay, I'm still getting severely low video output. Now that the stream is completely offline. Okay, it looks like the stream is back up. I'm losing my stream here tonight, guys. I should start, maybe in every show, what I could do is I could start pouring gravy down my pants. Yeah, Australian dollar's crashing right now, guys. I got people in the comment section. Jeff O'Toole, 67.5%. And Australia refuses to raise interest rates. Okay, it looks like I'm not getting a good connection here, guys. I do pay my internet bill, so it's got to be working. Yeah, it looks like the show's going to end soon tonight. I'm not getting any output here. I'm getting 0 output right now. Yeah, back to 0 again. Yeah, this is yeah, I don't know why I'm getting this huge spike in internet here. Oh. Okay, guys, I'm going to continue. I'm not sure if it's going to continue going through, but it's saying the stream has ended. Let's see if it jumps back up. I'm going to call the internet company. I'm just going to let them know. Because I know I pay the bill every month. There's no questions about paying bills here. Oh, Steve says I could hear you. Okay, so if you guys could hear me, then I'll just continue. Because it's moving at 0 kilobytes now per second. And... okay, people could hear me. Okay, so Australian house prices falling fastest rate in a decade. This was sent from my friend Justin. Sydney and Melbourne properties have now dropped the land 7.2% respectively compared with the 2017 peak. House prices have fallen the most in a single quarter since 2008, according to new data for December. Compared with their peak in 2017, Sydney and Melbourne's house prices have now dropped 11.1% and 7.2% respectively, and a sharp fall in December quarter hints that decline is picking up in pace, according to the data research CoreLogic. Prices dropped 4.8% in 2018 nationwide, prompting Dutch Bank to identify potential Australian housing crash as one of the top 30 risks to the global economy. Sydney's house prices surged nearly 20% in 12 months between 2016 and 2017, and national capitals rose 12.9% as well. But 2018 brought a long slide, with Sydney prices falling 8.9% across the year and Melbourne falling 7%. Western Australia houses fell 7.2% with a 4.7% drop in Perth. So here you go, guys. Look, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. Wow, even Perth, eh? Darwin, combined capitals and national average is down 4.8% across the board. Sydney is bearing the brunt of it, followed by Melbourne, and then followed by wow, Perth is still falling even after that mining crash. Wow. And the ones that are making are Adelaide, Hobart, of course, and Canberra. What's that? Oh, it's my Facebook. Seattle housing value up 46.4%. Guys, my output's at 0, so I don't know if people could still hear me, but it's showing 0 kilobytes per second. It's being distributed, so I'm going to keep reading. I'm not sure how much of the show will get out tonight. Okay. Seattle housing value up $46.4 billion over the past year. So over the past year, they're taking in all the foreign investing that went into effect. And then we go into this. Seattle falls from top spot in home price growth for the first time in years. So there's huge price slash and price drops right now if you're living in Seattle. Seattle's market is going to cool off in 2019. And Las Vegas is the biggest growing one right now. And Phoenix right now, only because everyone's leaving the west coast of the United States of America. So everyone's leaving the West Coast, and that's leaving a lot of these cities empty. And there's no more middle class buying in those markets anymore because the middle class can't afford it. Okay, let's continue here. So we've been following Seattle since Thy Kingdom Come. Actually, I've been following Seattle since the foreign buyer's tax went in Vancouver. And everyone went south to Seattle, and everyone went to Toronto. And can building house lower rents? Again, Seattle's pulling this bull supply and demand issue to build more on the market. With the amount of pre-builts in Seattle right now, the amount of people leaving the city because of unaffordability is turning into an absolute nightmare. So building more is not going to solve the problem. If anything, it's going to create an oversupply on the markets. So if anyone's watching this right now from King County, it's going to create an oversupply in the markets. You don't want to do that. Portland faces prospect of a normal real estate market. So now that everyone's left Portland, here we go. Yay! The median home price in Portland is at $391 now. Everyone started leaving when it reached 407. Oregon's tipping point was 407,000 when there was a mass exodus of people a year ago, and now the median home price has dropped to 391. So it looks like it's going to drop a lot more. So if you're living in the Oregon area and you're watching me, look at all these houses for sale. Wow, look at that. So if you're in the Oregon area, guys, please be patient. Because you're going to start seeing huge turnaround in the pricing. Once again, there's no more middle class to buy them. They're at $391. They're at $407,000 less than 5 months ago. So they're going down. So people living in Oregon, brace yourselves for big change. San Francisco area home sales drop off again, says data firm. Again, San Francisco, same problem. Same problem, different issue. Same issue, different problem. But now pricing is going down. And the number of homes sold in the Bay Area declined more than 15%. We're seeing that in Toronto and Vancouver. From last year, the total across 9 counties was 6,147 houses and condos. This time last year was 7,253, so that's giving you a 15% drop. A trend of declining sales dominated the first half. Again, sales declining, same thing happening in Toronto, Sydney, London, Vancouver. It's happening in every English-speaking country that was bought out, or that was sold to the highest bidder, basically. The effects to spread across all types of homes. So they're looking at this and they're taking this very seriously because a lot of people's wealth will be wiped out pretty much overnight. Nevertheless, prices are still up. This is what they're saying. And despite the regional decline, San Francisco itself came out relatively strong. So that's for right now, because it's usually these bigger markets where people have deeper pockets where you start to see a bit of resistance at the beginning. Then everything just starts to fall. Housing market creates relocation obstacles for Paradise evacuees. So this is today's article. These are people that are leaving Paradise that were in California, residents who are basically forced out of their homes due to major fires that was happening in their area. So what's happened is a lot of them are moving to Oregon. So a lot of people are moving to Oregon and trying to make their way up the coast there. And that's the Justin Cringe channel. We need to okay, let's keep going here. Let's put this at the end here. Stronger prospects for housing market. I think this is from New Zealand. Yep. The year is likely to be stronger for real estate market than some early predictions. Not going to happen, people. There's a massive oversupply in the market right now. There's a bunch of empty homes in Christchurch that were built by developers and no one's buying them. So lots of empty homes and no one's buying them, especially with their cutback on this is from Century 21, so we don't care what they have to say, but I kind of wanted to throw that out there just so people don't get fooled. The housing market is a goldmine for wealthy foreign buyers. This is the one I want to focus on because now that prices are dropping and there's a lot of wealthy foreign buyers waiting on the sidelines. Sorry guys, I'm getting a stream complete again. Stream resumed. Okay, I'm getting in and out. I'm not getting any internet here. I'm not sure what to do. I'm gonna call the internet company after this and say, like, why is this happening? Like, can I pay a little bit more towards my internet bill? Because I pay like the highest bandwidth you could get because I don't like to play around when it comes to doing streaming and stuff. Okay, UK housing market is a goldmine for wealthy foreign buyers. Sales of houses worth over £10 million tripled after sterling dumped follow Brexit vote. The global super rich have taken advantage of the Brexit-induced decline in the value of sterling to buy up 3 times as many £10 million plus pounds plus luxury homes as before the referendum vote. Some 300 homes sold for more than £10 million each in the tax year of 2017, the latest for which figures are available, an increase from the 100 sold during the preceding 12 months. So the mainstream property market saw traction levels trail off considerably. Why? Because the middle class can't afford to buy. So when the middle class can't afford to buy, guess what happens? That dies off. That whole section dies off, right? And there's an oversupply on the market. EU referendum vote, said Samuels, who submitted the FOI request, but at the very top, at the end of the market, activity levels soared as ultra-wealthy opportunist buyers cashed in, rapidly softening prices. So what's going to happen? We're going to see a correction in the Toronto market, the Sydney market, the New Zealand market, but the New Zealand, they put a law into place where it's very tough for foreigners or outsiders. So if I want to go there right now to New Zealand and buy, they won't sell to me. They'll tell me that I'm an outsider, and then they can't sell to me, which is fine, because guess what? It's their country, and I respect that. Economists warn 3 factors to weigh on housing market in 2019. Economists are warning of 3 major factors that could influence New Zealand's housing market this year. The foreign buyer ban, the possibility of the government axing landlords, tax deductions, and introduction of capital gains tax are all areas of concern for 2019. Economists Westpac, ANZ both cite those three factors could impact the sector, and even the head of Auckland's largest real estate agency is talking of possibly a slight correction. CoreLogic said 25% of November's residential property purchases throughout New Zealand were made by multiple property owners with a mortgage. ANZ's housing market outlook released early December cited concerns about precisely the same factors of Westpac. So remember, guys, I wouldn't trust anything Westpac or any of those big banks are saying, because they are under scrutiny with right now with the Royal Commission there in Australia. So anyways, guys, I'm not getting any movement here on my channel whatsoever. It's showing I'm broadcasting at 0 kilobytes per second, and the stream gets shut off and it comes back, and it gets shut off and it comes back. Don't know what to do. I don't know why I have such a really poor connection right now. All right, no place like home. Dublin boom fuels housing spiral. Dublin, sharing a studio flat in Dublin with two other people. Greek security guard Iris complains about the housing crisis that forces him to live in cramped conditions. So there's 3-4 people living, 4 or 5 people living in one of those one-room apartments. I think they're called bachelor apartment. So people in the comment section, we got Peter in the comment section, On Ice 64, Steve the Plumber, Jason Azevedo, Jeff O'Toole. You got everybody rolling right now in the comment section. People are desperate. The irony is that Ireland's witnesses an unprecedented property boom in the run-up of the 2008 financial crisis, a period when the Celtic Tiger years. So they're not doing enough. Yeah, this is something we should get into a little bit more deeper, because right now the housing market, or the housing crisis right now in Ireland, is spiraling out of control. It's becoming a big problem. Through the roof. House prices in Dublin increased by £1,000 per month in 2018, with prices up 5.5% nationally, new report reveals. So, guys, we're seeing it move to Dublin now. Ireland, see, here's Ireland here as a whole. Everything's up in green. And this is the same pattern we saw in Vancouver. This is the same pattern we saw in Toronto. This is the same pattern we saw in Sydney. This is the same pattern we saw in California. This is the same pattern we saw in London. It's the same patterns that are going across every English-speaking country. Scotland and Ireland are the last of them. And I think Jamaica right now is getting hit pretty hard too. And that's that for that. We covered pretty much every continent. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel here. Don't forget to subscribe to The Walking Journey, who's a guest on our show once in a while. He's usually on the mic of the night. Just Cringe Diversity channel. Check him out. He's got some pretty cool stuff here. I love this channel. I like this one here. I'll show you guys. Oh, damn, it's not here anymore. I gotta go in their videos now. I love this. This is beautiful, guys.
Hi, Just Cringe Diversity channel. Thank you for applying to the YouTube Partner Program. To evaluate your application, our team carefully reviewed your channel, Just Cringe Diversity channel. Unfortunately, we found that your application does not meet our YouTube Partner Program policies. So we cannot approve your channel for monetization at this time. We have policies in place that we believe support a healthy environment for advertisers, creators, and users, which means sometimes making difficult decisions. If you adjust the content on your channel and make more videos like, let's say, Will Smith or...
Yep, so I want to promote the crap out of this channel, Justin Cringe. Here it is here. Just Cringe Diversity channel, guys. I want to start promoting channels that are not getting the fair shake, that are not getting, that are not allowed to get monetization, that are not allowed to get anything, because it's very, very unfair. Because they meet the mandatory requirements to be allowed to receive that, but unfortunately, they've singled me out. They removed some of my videos, and they moved hundreds, like 700 of my housing videos are gone. So that's that. I think Steve the plumber should call in. Steve, are you there, buddy? Stevie, you said you got some news for us. I know you called me the other day with some news. Well, we got the internet back up running here. It's moving at 3,600 kilobytes per second, streaming at 36 kilobytes per second. So Steve's going to be calling in right now, give us an update on what's going on. Too bad he doesn't get Skype, because sometimes his cell phone sounds like crap. Usually, sometimes if he's driving, but usually he's okay. Oh, God, I got a massive headache. I'm going to finish drinking that water when Steve calls in. So, we're just waiting for Steve to call in. Huge delay here. Probably got the message a few seconds ago because there's a delay in the stream, by, I don't know, like 13-second delay. Here he is, Stevie Wonder.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me okay?
Of course I could hear you, buddy.
All right.
Okay, tell us, what's on your mind? What do you want to... I know you told me a lot of stuff yesterday. What do you want to tell us now?
The guy that I've been doing some work for, I met, as we discussed, we met just before the new year, and he went over a few things. And I guess the banks don't like to be Scrooge around the holidays, so roughly from about December 20th to about January 5th, they don't repossess any houses. That said, he's going full throttle into 2019, and as it sits right now, when we spoke, he had 19. As of today, he has 23 for January alone.
Well, foreclosures.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot of foreclosures.
It is.
That's for one
small business guy that's getting this work from the bank. Absolutely.
That's incredible, because if you were to, let's say we were to create some sort of a graph to actually like kind of create some sort of to create an understanding and then of how many companies are out there and how many contracts per bank do they have on average and how many times per week they go out for work XXX. It's actually it's pretty bad, Steve. It could be anywhere from 600 to 1,000 a week.
Yeah, I agree. Interesting fact, a house sold on my father's street more recently in the last 15 days. And keep in mind, June, July 2017, houses on his street were selling approximately about $1.6 million at the height of the market. Massive price reduction. And we're talking up in York region, and these are larger homes on large lots.
Mm-hmm.
The listing price was $1.3 million, the lowest it was going to go. Guess what it sold for finally 15 days ago? And keep in mind, this property was for sale for over $1.6 million.
980?
You're close. Just over $1 million.
Okay, just over $1 million. Okay. Yeah.
So, at that point, I did some further digging, and I guess the appraiser that appraised that property on behalf of the buyer, because it was conditional, was out of the same office as an appraiser friend of mine. And I asked him just to, kind of sort of look into it. And there was a situation where that property was basically buyer too, but could not close on because the value just wasn't there. That property was appraised at $990,000. So the buyer overpaid by, I would say, about $40,000 bucks. And that's basically where it stands. So we're seeing a drastic decline in house prices from the peak of the market. And these houses, they haven't been on the market for 30 days. They've been on the market for 150, 200 days.
Do you know who bought it? Was it a local family? Was it an investor? Do you know?
Yeah, it was a local guy. Basically, he pulled who his client was, and it was a guy in his early 40s, married with 2 kids.
Okay. So it's the middle class that's trying to get back in the market now.
To a certain degree, no doubt he sold his house in order to get into that property. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would imagine you'd have to already be in the game in order to have some sort of a substantial down payment in order to qualify for a property that's over $1 million bucks, because he would need 20% down and no mortgages. I repeat, no mortgages. I don't care if it's an A or a B lender. You want to talk about C lender? You know what? That's a very, very gray market. I don't even want to go there. It's not even regulated. You may as well just go to a loan shark. But your A and B lenders are no longer $1 million mortgages or mortgages on $1 million properties with 20% down. They want to see 35 and 40% down.
Yeah, the big time. Oh yeah, they want to see a big chunk of change down to create an aggregation towards the loss in the next year or two.
Yeah, well, they're trying to secure or mitigate their losses and secure their position. No doubt that property will go down a little bit more in value. I just don't know how much. I think I just saw it. Peter just did it. 37 price drop.
Yeah.
So I think it's got some room to go. I just don't see it going much past 50% from the peak. That's going to be pretty hard to swallow. But then again, we'll wait and see what the recession brings in 2019.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Yeah, it's making a lot of sense. I'm seeing a lot of the sideliners now that do have properties and positions trying to get upgrade now in the market if they can, right? Mind you, the property was 1.4, now it sold for 9. It was valued at roughly 980, 990. He paid 50 grand over. He's still not getting a deal because I think that property realistically should be worth 600,000, bud. Realistically, like if our taxes were lower if our taxes, let's say we had 1982 taxes. Okay, 1982 taxes with the wages we earn today, that would be fine to buy it for that much. But because we're getting taxed to death on everything we do, we don't have anything. Like what we have left with disposable income. Did you see the video I did today about housing simplification 1962?
No, I didn't actually see that as of yet, but it did show up in my feed.
Yeah. That was a house. There were houses there on Lawrence Avenue or Shepherd area for $16,745 in 1962, and I pulled the average wage, not high wage, average wage between both male and female, the average wage, and I pulled what the taxes were at the time, and I pulled what the everything. I actually put it together in a way where you could basically see what you have left over for disposable income. Then I had a couple of people comment and say, Mike, what about credit cards? What about this? What about that? What about, well, hello, in 1962, nobody had credit cards. There's no such thing. You know, no one had lines of credit. There was basically, you know, they would put liens on the property, but back in the day when you took a lien in 1962 for your house, it was very different. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they just give you a line of credit and you write checks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely things have evolved over time. And now what we're seeing is as natural as your heartbeat, the credit cycle tightening and the tides rolling out. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Jeff O'Toole said some pretty interesting things, him being up in Stouffville in that area. He said in the comments section that this is only the beginning. I'm inclined to agree with that, but there's so many moving parts to this correction.
Okay.
No.
There's one thing I forgot to add. That's on one income.
Yes. In what year?
1962. The video I made, and I was going over the mathematics on how much disposable income was left over.
You know why it's only on one income?
That was off one income, and you had $1,300 left over every. No. 1,000. No, was it? No. Sorry, Steve. I'm sorry. It was 100. Was 100 and so you're left with 130 something. Yeah, 130 some odd dollars. Here, let me just play the video real quick. I'll get to the point in the video so you guys can see it at home, in case you missed it. It's a little bit ways back. So this is floating around all over the internet. And the Crestwood home, what is that, a 5 or 6 bedroom? Beautiful car garage, nice bay window. Crestwood, let's zoom into that if we can here. Shows, get a government bonus too. Get your $500 government bonus, I guess, for buying. First time buyers. Fully detached homes from 16745. Land and your $550 government bonus. Some available for immediate occupancy. So this really blurred thing there. I could barely see what it says, but I tried zooming it in. It's just it's I don't think it's a proper scan, but it's okay. It's at Finch and Leslie, so it's north of Finch there in the Toronto area, in the Toronto proper area actually, and there it is there, and they have division developments, and you can go into the office basically. So I looked at that, and everyone's telling me, well, that's just a pipe dream, Mike. That doesn't. Well, let's look a little bit into this article that's been floating around all over Facebook. Before someone else mirrors my video and says look what we did, look what we found for you guys. So let's go to our purchasing power calculator, which I opened earlier in a couple of shows ago. So the only one that I've found that actually makes good sense, that actually adjusts to proper inflation, some of them were just nuts, was this one. But you could only go 2017. It won't let you go any higher than 2017 because it's only programmed up to 2017. So the dollar value in today's dollar value, the 16,745, will be valued at $134,135 in our money today. And that just goes to show that our money is completely worthless. The buying power in our money is useless. Because this house right now is over 1.2, maybe $1.5 million. So that just goes to show how unvaluable our money has become. So that is there, 1963. I didn't have 62, so it wouldn't let me do it. So 63, one extra year. It actually deflates it a bit. So if I went to 62, it'd probably even go higher. So that's 134, 135, okay, in today's money. So, with the price of food and everything right now, this house should be sitting at about $350, $375, no more than $400, no more. But that's just my point of view, right, guys? Everyone's entitled to believe what they feel like. So this is the average male and female income. So they didn't have 62, so I went with 63. And this is when everyone got a big bump right here. So I worked that out with the taxation. So this is the average income. So this is not even like a doctor. This is just the minimum wage, and this is hourly earning, okay? So I broke that down, and I received $106 per week, and I broke down the taxes. Let me open there it is. So it works out to $96 after tax per week. That's $193 every 2 weeks, and that's right here. $193 extra per month to play with. Now, what am I talking about? I'll show you. There's the mortgage calculator. And on $16,745, the rate at that time, the lowest rate I could secure at that time was $699, almost 7%. And it would take you 12 years to pay off because there was only 12-year mortgages. There were longer mortgages, but Which is a headache, and the rates were way too high. So I found a 12-year mortgage with a 5-year, a 12-year amortization with the 5-year term, and giving it $16,745. Okay, that's the amount to borrow. So this is if you put down nothing. Your mortgage payments monthly would be $171, and then when you factor in your biweekly payment here, you could pay that mortgage, and you are left with $193 per month. So I did take a look at 1962. Grocery shopping was about $9 to $14 for a full shopping cart worth of food. Like, I mean, 14, 15 bucks high end. Because everything was 10, 20 cents, 50 cents for... Okay, so that's that. You see that, Steve? I don't know if you saw it, but did you see it?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so disproportionate, way out to lunch where we are today.
But do you see? But did you see that? That's one income, Steve.
Do you know why it was one income back then?
Why?
Because, and this is going to sound sexist, but this is very, very, very true. Even if you know, the wife works part time or full time, the banks would not take her income into consideration for the purposes of qualifying for the mortgage, because she's going to get pregnant and have babies, and she wasn't going back to work.
Can I say something, Steve? That's really true. That's minimum wage, Steve. That graph that I pulled up was from the Canadian Census minimum wage, that was by law. So I'm taking minimum wage incomes to buy a 5-bedroom home and have it paid off within 5 years. So when I tell people that in the 60s and 70s, even up until the early 80s, you could bag groceries at a grocery store and pay 6-7% on your mortgage and still pay it off in 5 years, people laugh their butts off at me. It's there. It's plain as day.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I understand exactly where you're coming from. My neighbor right now, he actually bought his house that he lives in today, still to this date. They're older, and he actually acquired that property in the mid 60s. Mid to late 60s, and he didn't get a mortgage from a bank. He got a mortgage from the actual seller. They did a vendor take back mortgage.
Okay, like way back in the day. Yeah,
in the 60s.
Yeah, for sure. I heard a rumor floating around, and I don't know how to bring this up where it makes any sense, or like, I don't know. I think it's just a rumor that's going around. Maybe you could help fill us in. Apparently, Justin Trudeau passed a law today or yesterday that allows him to remain prime minister even after the election. Do you know anything about it?
No, I don't know anything about that. I'm pretty sure that would have to be passed through a series of, meetings within the legislature, and I just don't know how anybody. That would be all over the news. It would be absolute insanity. Justin Trudeau, yeah, that's ridiculous. If that is true, I'd love to know why that isn't all over the news, like I just said. But more importantly, why anybody from the Liberal Party would even remotely agree to that.
Okay, I don't see it anywhere, so it was just it was a false alarm. I got it here on one of my videos. Someone says I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. 50 cents for. Let's see if they left a link. I told them to leave me a link. Let me just see if it got deleted. I'm not sure. Sometimes my stuff gets deleted. Guys, I just want you guys to know that watch my channel on a regular basis. I do not delete any of your comments, okay? If your comments get deleted, it's because it's some stupid thing on YouTube, and people are like, oh, why'd you delete my comment? I didn't delete your comment. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are asking me that. Okay, let me see here. Oh, somebody commented on this video, says, that's what I paid for my first house in 1973. In 1975, I paid $36,000 for a two-story house with with a $2,000 tax rebate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, Justin Trudeau knows his ship is sinking hard and fast. It was all over social media and a few other places where his approval rating is just deteriorating like no tomorrow.
I think
if election was held today, he would lose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you ask the CBC that, they would say, they would say different. Now, if Trudeau wants to give me all that money that he gave to the, CBC, I would say that he's going to win the election, and I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. It's just how it is, It's just money talks, right? Do you ever watch the Just Cringe Diversity channel?
No, but I saw it this evening, and I'm very interested to check it out.
This is your channel. This is your channel, Steve. You'll love this channel. It's all about just Cringe Diversity. He's got over 5,000 subs now, and he's doing a really good job on this channel. He's posting stuff every other day, which is good. So he's getting some traction on this channel. Unfortunately, they won't. He's almost at 1 million views too, eh? His channel's almost at 1 million views, which is really good. But unfortunately, he's they don't want to monetize his channel, and they just don't want him basically being part of the rest of the YouTube world where everybody gets something for something, right?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. But yeah, Mike, that's basically where things are at. You've gone over quite a few things that Better Dwelling has put out. Did you hit up Better Dwelling today? Or
yes, I did. First article: Bank of Canada officially began buying Canadian mortgage bonds.
I tell you, those bonds are going to take a shit kicking right now.
No, the problem is the bonds they're purchasing on mortgage-backed securities. Most of it's foreign money invested, so that's the scary part of it.
Right.
Because the properties, the high-end, all those properties, the majority of them were purchased by foreign investors, right? So all these empty homes all over Vancouver, all over the Burnaby and, all over Toronto, all the empty... Toronto's still sitting on 97,000 empty units.
Really?
Yep. Mario DeCetti's brought it up. It was 103,000 before. Now they're saying it's roughly 97,000 empty home investor units.
Okay.
Yeah, so
wow.
I wanted to throw that out there. You can look it up. I already did a video about this. The best article I bring up for this is France empty home tax. It gives you a graph there. Oops. Paris. Here it is. It's from Better Dwelling. Okay, here's the graph. Okay, so New York City, Toronto is 99,232 vacant investment properties owned. The biggest is New York City, 308,000. Hong Kong. Then it's Paris, 107,000. Singapore, 29,000. Sydney, 118,000. And Vancouver, 66,000. San Francisco, 30,000. And Los Angeles, 213,000. That's all investment-owned properties.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why I keep saying, when they keep saying supply versus demand, I'm like, no. There's no supply versus demand. There's an oversupply. When you have 99,236 vacant units in Toronto, you got yourself a big problem.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what the vacancy rate in Toronto was in 1981?
No, I don't. Not offhand.
99. 99. Not even 100. Now it's 99,236.
Very interesting.
There's a huge oversupply, and I've been talking about this for the longest time. I just really hope people that took my advice kind of woke up and kind of looked around and checked what the damage was before they jumped into something like this. Like a lot of people are looking at the prices as they drop and thinking it's going to be a good time to jump in. No way, Jose.
Wow.
Anyways,
I'm impressed, Mike. You've become quite the wealth of knowledge.
oh no, it's just repetitiveness, talking about the same stuff over and over. You start branching into other articles, branching into other predictions, branching into other, I don't know, foreshadowing things that might happen because of something that's happening on the other side of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Understand completely. Mike, I have to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Between Jeff O'Toole's comments and Peter's comments, Matsky's comments, I know Gary's in the McKinney comment section. It feels a little quiet. Where is the real Kevin Thompson?
I have no idea. I was going to ask you there. Yes, prices are still going up, guys.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Wow, I spoke too soon.
Mm-hmm.
The real Kevin Thompson. Oh, man, you gotta love it. You gotta love it when people are so in denial, when everyone is actually seeing things come to fruition, and the numbers don't lie. From actual sold data that's now readily available to basically us being, like you said, that Better Dwelling article, being worse off than the U.S. at the great financial...
Walk in the park. Walk in the park. It's
just crazy how people still think that things are just going to continue to go up, and this irrational exuberance is going to continue. The irrational exuberance is over. We are on the way down.
Yeah, because we're not in wealth creation anymore. We're in debt creation. That's the problem. We're creating more debt. We're not creating any more wealth, Steve. No one owns anything free and clear.
Well, that's true. Even Kevin Thompson's leveraged to the hilt by way of his line of credit.
Yeah. Oh, Peter brought up a very important comment. Says, Mike, they're watch this. Mike, they're reiterating property values higher in some Sydney suburbs to bump up property taxes because they know they'll be running out short of taxes if the housing market collapses along with the stamp duty. So what's happening is, remember that video I did like a week ago about how property taxes went up in Vancouver? It's because property values are falling. They need to create some sort of they don't want to stop that income from coming in, so they raise property taxes to aggregate against the loss of the falling house prices.
Well, that's fraud.
Yeah, well, they're doing it in Vancouver. Property taxes went up in Vancouver. I did the article last week. And
Toronto's going to go up as well, from what I've been told.
Mm. Look, property taxes BC. Property taxes Vancouver. See, property hike. Get ready. Get your property tax balance notice. Yeah, property taxes are going up. See, they're going up. So for every average $1 million mortgage, they're going up $190 a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah. See, Vancouver's looming 5% property tax hike. More evidence of funding. See, so they what they need to do is, because the properties are going down in value, they just got to raise property taxes. That's just how it works. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. We've gotten ourselves into such a poop show right now. It's so bad that getting out of this mess it's going to get severely ugly for us to get out of this mess we're in right now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. In just respect to, in the comment section, Andre Nicolatina, banks can lend out 10 times the amount of deposits, I believe.
Yeah, that's fractional reserve lending, invented in, I think it was 1977 or 1975. when fractional reserve lending hit the scene, and basically allowing banks to defraud their. Basically, it's like the gold standard when the Roman Empire was giving out gold coins, so people had value. Then what happened, Steve, was they started removing gold and adding different coppers and metals in it, and removing more and more gold, so their gold coins became more and more devalued.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying. But with respect to them lending out 10 times their deposits, under the direction of the feds or provincial, whichever one you want to call it, that doesn't mean that Mr. and Mrs. Smith can walk in there and get a mortgage for 10 times their income. That would be stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing that right now, Steve. People go in making $70,000 a year, and they lend them $4 million for a house.
Well, I get what you're saying, in terms of, metaphorically speaking, for sure.
Yeah.
But, no chartered bank is going to go and lend 10 times, one's value. There's just no way.
Mm.
Absolutely not. But, you know what? I heard something the other day, because that came up as well, in terms of, the banks lending, they've been prudent on lending 3.5, 4 times one income maximum, so on and so forth. And somebody brought up an interesting point. That all goes out the window, Mike.
Yeah.
When a false or falsified document comes into the equation by way of job letter or T4. In other words, somebody on paper, a combined household income could be making $200K, but in actual fact, they're only making $120, $130K. The bank has now lent out more than what they actually should have been lending out, and they were, none the wiser whether they didn't do enough, digging or everything checked out, and there was, massive fraud taking place.
Yeah. Okay, I got Peter saying, but we have to keep increasing debt, Mike. Once credit starts contracting, the economy falls apart. There is never enough currency to pay off all the debt. Interest created cannot be done. Impossible. Yeah, there's never enough. So when the Decepticons come to collect the world debt, what is it, 56 trillion or whatever, $60 trillion? The Decepticons will be here, Steve, to collect this debt.
Well, you can't get money, you can't get blood from a stone, and I agree with him to a certain extent, but I've said this before, people that are older than us, Mike, have seen this movie before, and I say it's cyclical because it just, it just goes around and around and around, and, some of the debt gets wiped, some of it doesn't, and, eventually, it just adds up and adds up and adds up. I don't know what D-Day is going to look like. I won't be around to, actually see that happen. But in actual fact, the credit cycle is contracting very much so at the current moment, and it's going to continue to do that throughout 2019 into 2020. And it's going to result in, what we're going through right now. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, power of sales, write-downs, write-offs with respect to housing as an asset class.
You know what's scaring the crap out of me? A lot of these HELOCs and second mortgages that were taken out, a lot of them weren't going to funding new business creation. It was going to for consumption, and that's scary.
It's funny, you use that term, I agree with you. You use that term consumption, and that term consumption basically means for own personal use, keeping up with the Joneses, buying a new car, or, doing home improvements, so on and so forth. And you know what? That's fine to identify that, but consumption today is actually a whole new meaning, because consumption isn't just for personal use. When we say consumption, those lines of credit, a lot of people are actually using that money and consuming it. They're using that money to buy food, Mike.
I know. I know, it's kind of funny when I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm in the shopping grocery store, and I'm putting my food on the to pay, and then the person behind me has like one apple and a Snapple, and then the person behind that person has, and I'm not on the 14 or under 14 or under items aisle. I'm in the regular aisle, and I'm looking at every other person checking out, and they're buying like a bottle of mayonnaise and and a carton of eggs. No one's filling up the shopping carts like they used to back in the day, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually have a friend who does work as a tradesman for, I guess, some big box stores, including Costco. And those of you who are in the comment section or listening to this after the live broadcast, Costco is a big box, store that only sells groceries and household appliances. But I retract that. I think they're selling jewelry now, or have been for quite some time. But they're basically, you go in there and you're not just buying a standard box or a carton of eggs. You're walking out with 50 eggs.
Yeah.
And, but yeah.
No. I get it's a great valid point you bring up. Are we spending more with these bigger Costco type stores? People spend more than what they could afford, I noticed, because they think they're getting a better deal in the long run. When they buy 10 bags of bread and 500 rolls of toilet paper, you know what I'm saying?
It works if it doesn't go bad. I think Costco's business model is mass production, and sell they sell in large volumes. But I mean, by the time you go ahead and you buy 50 frickin' steaks and 100 chicken breasts and everything else, so on and so forth, and you freeze them, by the time you actually go and finish that all off, depending on how big your family is, it's probably going to go bad, or freeze or burn, or something along those lines. So, I mean, it makes sense if you're a family of 5, 6. But, Mike, the days of having a family of 5 or 6 are over, unless you're an immigrant. You're coming here, husband and wife are coming here with 3 or 4 kids. Let's face it.
Oh, but those days are over. Unless they're got lots of money. Husband and wife coming here with 3 or 4 kids. That's not gonna fly. How are they gonna like immigrants? I'm talking about people that immigrate here, like from Europe or from somewhere, Russia or whatever, Australia. They need to bring a lot of cash now to intermigrate into other countries. You know what I'm saying? But those days, I know I'm going off topic, but that's what's happening right now. So, what happens, Steve, in the long run when we lose that intermigration of middle class not coming to Canada anymore? What happens to that? Where it's all severely wealthy people that could buy us all out in a drop of a hat, but there's no more people in our bracket that are coming in that actually keep our bracket alive, and the ones that actually pay the taxes and contribute to the infrastructure. What happens then when the middle class doesn't come into the country anymore? How do we subsidize that? How do we subsidize the loss? Do we just print more money?
Well, you could print more money, or you're going to have no choice but to tax the wealthy. And if you do that, the wealthy are simply going to pick up and leave.
Yeah.
So Trudeau's plan, as a whole, is designed and set up for 100% absolute failure. Socialism, which is, he is the queen of socialism, okay? I'm sorry, any guy that can sit on a chair and cross his legs for that amount of time doesn't have any balls. But I digress. Socialism has failed for the last 100 years.
Yes. Continue.
That said, so he's going to go ahead and he's going to continue to bring all these people in, and he wants mass, immigration immigration coming into Canada, and he's opened up the floodgates for the borders and all this other fun stuff. And he actually thinks his plan is going to work. So I have one question: if the middle class is gone, and you're allowing wealthy immigrants into the country, yet you keep the borders open, do you actually think those wealthy immigrants are going to continue to come when when they come here and they set up shop, or they come here to live? They're just getting taxed to the point of no return to pay for these open borders.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think they're going to stay here for?
Oh, I don't know, until they get rape and pillage and take whatever they can and move on.
You said it, I didn't.
Well, I'm just telling you what usually happens, especially the people, the wealthy that move in between countries to suck the countries dry and move on. It's a business. It's business, right? It's a business, and it's something that we've allowed to take our country over. Economic takeover. That's what's happened, right? Australia is experiencing a massive economic takeover right now. It's been an economic takeover there for the last 6 years, and I've been reporting on it for many years now in Australia. And all my videos were taken down. All my Australia videos, for some weird reason, all of them were taken down. Maybe 60 of my Vancouver videos were gone. A couple of Toronto ones. You know that I did a video, I don't know if you remember this one, Steve, if you were still subscribed to my channel, when the 4 buyer's tax went in Vancouver, and I read the first article that just hit the scene 2 weeks after, how housing in Toronto was on fire. And I was saying, because of the foreign buyer's tax in Vancouver, this is what's happening. And no one listened to me.
I remember that video very well.
And I was reading it outside, and I was still at my old house. I wasn't even living in Merritt then. And, yeah. It's really sad. And then I've been talking about how the reason why we're following Seattle so closely is because half the people moved to Seattle and the other half moved to Toronto. Both are taking a loss right now. Seattle's losing $5,000 a month in value, and Toronto is just an anomaly in 2007.
Yeah, it's a very good parallel.
So, you know, I don't know, Steve. I don't know where things are going to end up. We don't have the working middle class Canadian that's still existing right now is going to be extinct. Middle class Australian is coming towards extinction. Middle class New Zealander, they're long gone. There's 40 people living in one house there in Australia now. In some houses, there's like 40 people. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I could find the article. 40 people.
I'd love to hear more from Peter. He's in Australia, is he not?
Yep.
Yeah. He's I gotta say he's right on the money. He's a brilliant mind, and I think it's actually quite funny. The Kevin Thompson, or the real Kevin Thompson, actually just tried to solicit or give financial advice to Peter in the live chat. That's actually quite humorous.
Yeah. Peter, are you available to call into the show? If he's there. Andrew Baker isn't called in yet. He's our financial analyst for our channel, the guy that knows all, like, everything that's happening. And, yeah. Anyways, okay, Steve, we'll let you go. We'll have you on Mike of the Night so we could talk about your friend Justin Trudeau.
Oh God, I don't even want to waste my breath. But yeah, as a final thought, I'll let you go. Andrew Scheer came on and openly said if Trudeau gets in, he is going to annihilate us with raising the carbon tax and whatnot. And I don't agree with everything that Andrew Scheer has to say, but I have to agree with him on this one. If Trudeau gets in, we're in for a world of hurt as the middle class.
Okay, you know what the problem is? The carbon tax last year for my house, because my heater wasn't working properly. I don't know if you remember that, Steve. I paid close to $1,200 in carbon tax last year.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I've yet to see how a carbon tax actually works to reduce pollution. The carbon tax was designed to do one thing and one thing and it will control pollution. Meanwhile, the only thing it's doing single-handedly is paying for the massive amounts of liberal spending. End of story.
I'm gonna tell you how you can save yourself,
Hey everybody,
your
I'm
family,
Christopher.
your lives. You take the promo code here for AMTV. You join their Bitcoin promo thing here. I think if you learn, I'm just kidding, Steve. I'm just kidding. That's a joke for Peter. I'm gonna get Peter on the phone so he could comment on this here.
Absolutely, Mike. So good to be with you. We'll talk real soon. Thanks very much, and have a great night.
God bless you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
All right. Alrighty.